You know, the post-election crisis that has rocked the Labour Party is reflective of the absence of internal democracy, largely bedeviling political parties in our country today. Trouble started with the purported suspension of the national chairman of the party, Julius Abure, by the Edo State chapter of the party. The case duly went to court, and the Federal High Court in the FCT, sitting at Maitama, has fixed May 12th to rule on a preliminary objection the embattled chairman filed challenging the suit, seeking his removal from office. Tony, politicians always ignore Napoleon Bonaparte's advice. Don't interrupt your enemy when he's making a mistake.
That's the nature of Nigerian politics. I don't see anything strange or new what's happening to Labour Party. We've had it in other traditional parties like PDP and APC. It's expected that following the showing the Labour Party made in the last election, the coming on board of the presidential candidate, it will be 8 months, and then the Labour Party has been on ground for a long time. Oh, yeah. It's been around. That's the same party that made Mimiko of Ondo State used, as governor. So it's been around. And so we had people, so pretending over the affairs of the party long before, the sudden, speed the party made in the past 10 months. The interest groups we are seeing is expected. When the moment Obi and Peter Obi came on the party, the crisis started. But somehow they were able to tame it so that they can remain focused, and face the election.
The election tamed...
The election tamed these agitations in the party. It started, I remember Rabambi, the spokesperson, coming on TV and then the expulsion and all the suspension. So the crisis has been there. But after a while, the thing died down. So they focused, on the presidential election. So it's expected that after the election, it will, come again. So that's why I said I'm not too surprised. What I'm praying for is that they sit down and resolve the crisis as soon as possible. Nigerians, a lot of Nigerians queue behind Labour Party, not because of Labour Party as a political party, but because of Peter Obi. Labour Party has been around, as I said earlier, and Nigerians, a lot of people were not there. But people came, followed Peter, because the moment he indicated interest in contesting for presidency at the platform of Labour Party, a lot of Nigerians followed him. And some of them are not even registered members of the political party, of Labour Party. They are called obedient. They just followed Peter Obi into it. And I learned a lot of them have started registering to be a member of the party. So that's why I pray the party sit down, look at the implications of not resolving this crisis within a limited time. They should not allow it to linger because they have a lot to benefit. And I pray the presidential candidate of the party be at the helm of this, at resolving this crisis. Okay. Because as far as I can see from here, they don't have taken away from that party nothing. So it has to be on ground to make sure that this crisis is nipped in the bud as soon as possible. Yeah. Otherwise, what will come out of it, I can
because
imagine.
The showing of the LP at the last election confounded so many folks. Today, they can boast of some seats at the National Assembly, yes, the green and red chambers.
Yes, they did well, especially in the House of Reps election. Then there are about 34 members in the House of Reps, and the did well as well in the presidential election, where he won 11 states and the FCT making 16. And if we look at Section 299 of the Constitution, which affirms that Abuja shall be treated as a state. So we could say that he won 12 states. He galvanized the race, he made the race much more interesting. And the truth is the reason Atiku is not president-elect today. Because if Atiku had, if Obi had not taken away those states that Atiku used to dominate, because Atiku never dominated the North. There was no election where he dominated the North. You know? And in this election, in the final analysis, Tinubu had more votes in the North than Atiku.
Surprisingly?
Yes. No, not surprisingly. I even thought that he would have had more votes because he had more governors than any of the candidates. But in the end, many of those governors, at least 12 APC governors, could not deliver their states. So Atiku is runner-up today because Obi contested the election with him. Obi dominated the South-South, dominated the Southeast, and he took some states, two states in the North Central, that's Nasarawa and Plateau, as well as Lagos in the Southwest. So these are states that were traditionally PDP states, as well as Abuja. You know, the states that he won, apart from Lagos, were traditionally, PDP had always been strong in those states. So naturally, there will be all kinds of contestations for power. The bigger parties have had their own share of this kind of crisis. So when I hear them say, oh, it's APC that is instigating the crisis, you know, you just look for excuses needlessly. APC has had its own crisis. Oshomole was suspended by his word. And in the end, the center could not hold. They had to set up a caretaker committee that ran the affairs of the party.
For many months?
Yes, for almost 2 years. Now, PDP, the same thing. The young man from Rivers State, Secondus, was chairman. They chased him away and brought someone else. Today, they are still in crisis. So what is happening to Labour Party is not something new. It has happened to APC. It has happened to PDP. But if you are going to be a big party,
you expect Labour Party to gain by learning from the mistakes I talked about.
They will not learn from it if they are sheepishly accusing the APC of being behind their crisis. It's just like the PDP say, oh, the problem we have now is caused by the APC. No, you have to look within. If you are a party that wants to be big, you are going to face this crisis. There's no way you are not going to face crisis because it is contest for power. Abure has led the party to victory in in many states. Abure has engineered the most impressive performance of the Labour Party at any time in its history.
Yeah.
They've never had it this good. Thanks to the way the party organized the election and its election, and of course the image that young people especially have of Obi. Now, people will be targeting Abure's position. Even before now, as he said, some people had initially targeted Dr. Donyo Okupe and others.
And took him out.
You know? So
and took him out.
They didn't take him out.
In a manner of speaking.
They targeted his position, claimed that they were, no, I'm going to explain. Okay. Claimed that, okay, they suspended him, but his conviction for money laundering was what made him to hands off.
Okay.
Because it will not make sense for a tainted person to lead the party to election. Of course, was the spokesperson for the party. You can't be the poster boy of the party when you have that
bag.
So it made sense that he decided on his own that he was no longer interested. So I'm saying that even before that happened, they had targeted him. So this is contestation for power. And what will make sense for them to come together and see how they can resolve this issue amicably. I read somewhere that they are trying to resolve the issue out of court and all that. I don't know, maybe on the 12th, because it's possible if they come together and they use their heads. On the 12th of May, they will just let the judge know that, look, we have resolved to withdraw this matter from court, and we've resolved to settle out of court. It is possible. But to be imagined that, oh, because of your success, oh, APC has come, APC is behind your thing, it's a very silly thing to say. Look at some of the issues. They are saying that Abure and his colleagues in the party forged the party's documents, forged affidavits, forged the seal of the party. No, address it, that is to bring in some people so that they can contest in the election. Address those issues. So treat it as a family affair the way they used to do during Obasanjo's time. Call everyone together. And that's what Obi should be doing. Obi should be able, given the image that he has.
As father figure.
Yes, he should be able to use that, the influence that he has, call everyone together and say, gentlemen, yes, let us resolve this thing. We have done well in this election. We are not losers. We've done well. Let us see how we can resolve this thing amicably.
All right.